Hey, hi, I'm Mona. This is Chit Chat. So we just came back from the midday walk. And, before we went, I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and make that little paper. And so I can make copies of it and give it to people in the community to pass to their friends and their family and everything so they can get their refund of, being overcharged and all that. I couldn't really find anybody when I came back. I found one neighbor. He's over there. I gave him like 4 copies of it. He can give to his friends. And I told him if he runs out, have them take a picture of it and they can take it home and do their own calculations. I did have to make a change on there because I actually did hear, I went back to listen to the video because I saved it on the phone. It's online too, of course. You guys seen it. And because I was really trying to get her to tell me how much per gallon do they charge. And all she could tell me is after 2,000 gallons, they charge 40 extra cents per gallon. So I'm like, because at first I thought, oh, it's 40, because I don't know these calculations, right? So I looked stuff up, and man, that's a lot of money, number one, okay? And, But that's not what I asked her. I didn't ask her for after 2,000 gallons. I wanted to know per gallon, like before 2,000 gallons. And she didn't tell me. So I had to switch up on the paper that, everybody has to call in and find out how much they charge if you don't reach 2,000 gallons. How much is it per gallon? Because I put it on there. It's between 008 and 009, something, right? So yeah, I had to add that to the paper. And I took it to the library. I like those ladies at the library over at the Refugio Library. And they always want to know what's happening over there. And so I told them, and they're like, oh, they asked me if they could make a copy for themselves too. It's basic algebra though, whatever it is. It's just conversions of, cubic feet to gallons and this type of thing. It's very easy stuff. But if, older people around here, they don't really know. They don't really understand, So I kind of explained it to the guy over there. I kind of hope he understands. But if not, I also put not a link or anything, because from a copy you can't put a link. I just put in there what they should type in YouTube and to look for a blue screen cover page. That's about 1minute and 48-second video. And then they can watch the video to see exactly how much 1 cubic foot is equal to in regards to gallons. Maybe I will make a little video here for you guys too. I don't know. Because it's general. It's math, right? You can't fake, units and quantities. You can't fake that. If it's a specific thing, it's a specific thing. So it's universal, and, I could probably make a tiny video showing, how to convert your it's really all over it's really all over YouTube. You just have to type in basically how to read your meter and convert it into gallons, because we're talking about 100 cubic feet and then cubic feet, and 1 cubic foot is equal to about 7.5 gallons. So you can look it up if you're curious about, because you know what, I'll be honest with you, sometimes people, they make mistakes. That could be it too. Somebody make a mistake. So, yeah. Maybe they just made a mistake. But it's a pretty big mistake, and that mistake means that they have to refund people all their money. Yeah. From that mistake, so... But, yeah, also when I came back, I saw the sheriff driving by. Yeah, I stopped him, though, because I was out there. I stopped him. His name was Robert. He was very nice. I'm not saying, that they're not nice or anything. There's just particular people in that department who are kind of corrupt, And I told him, and I said, oh, hi. I said, I've been trying to contact Donnie Van Ness. He knows exactly who that guy is. And I said, I'm not sure how busy you guys are. I don't know how much crime is in the town and all that stuff. But he's working on my case, and I called him last week, and I'm trying to figure, if you see him, can you let him know that Monica Shake would like to speak to him, And he was like, well, what is this regard? And I said, well, the mayor came to my home and assaulted me or attacked me, or however he said it, I don't remember. I said assault or attack, same thing, right? And he said, oh, so he knew about it. He knew about it. And I said, and I know now why they did that. And I wanted to talk to him about that. Because of this. Because they didn't want me to find this out. About the water. That's why she brought the water guy and herself. Because they were trying to intimidate me into not looking into it any further. Like to give up. I'm not going to give up. Not when my money's involved. And then on top of that, I will be helping the whole community. Because that's not fair, because people have been here for years, dealing with these people for years. How much money do you think is owed back to them? Because it all adds up. It's a lot. It's a lot. So why wouldn't they try to intimidate me, right? Because there's a lot of money at stake here. So anyways, that guy was nice, and he's like, yeah, if I see him, I will let him know. And I'm all, okay. All right, thank you so much. I'm like, you have a good day. And he said, okay, yeah, you too. He was nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're nice. But just because somebody is nice doesn't mean they're not corrupt. And if he doesn't live in this town, he probably has no idea about it. Because the Donnie Van Ness guy does. He knows that the water here is bad. But he don't really know what's really going on. So I don't know. Maybe he is busy. Maybe he does have hundreds of cases he's working on. Maybe the crime is really high over here that he's so busy that he couldn't get back to me. And that's okay. It's just that, But I would like to hear from him, and I would like to tell him what's going on here. Because that is the reason why she came over here acting all crazy and poking me like that with her finger. That's the assault part. It didn't hurt or anything, but it's still an aggressive body contact. She's a little woman. She's scraggly. No, she can't do nothing to me. But what if I was an old, feeble lady? She was poking me enough that if I was an old lady, I might have fallen down. And you can't be doing that to people. You can't be doing that. What if she would have hurt an old lady or somebody? You know what I mean? That's terrible. And plus, you don't act like that when you're a mayor. But she's a child. She's just a child in a woman's, little body. She's not. She doesn't have it all together upstairs. You know what I mean? But still, you don't act like that. And if you're gonna treat people like that, you're gonna have to suffer the consequences. Because that's just it. Unless, of course, the people handling your case are corrupt and they don't help you. That's different, right? That's corruption in towns, the small towns. Which I hear that Texas is like super famous for that, for having corrupted little towns. So, I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, that was just what happened here. And I made the little copies. It's about to start raining and thundering. I don't know close to here. I don't really feel it here, but I see it outside. It's so weird how the weather is. Like one part, a little bit down, it'll be pouring, but it'll like skip over here. I don't know. But anyways, I did actually make a bunch of copies to pass out to everybody in the neighborhood. I also posted one in the post office, and I put do not remove, take a picture with your phone. So people can take a picture and they could calculate their own water bill. Yeah, because they're not being honest over there at City Hall. They're confusing everyone. And you know what? Because Viola or Violet, whatever her name is in the City Hall, she may not actually know either. Now that I think about it, she might have just been told this by Earl Henning, the water superintendent. He probably just told her, tell them that's what this is and that's what it is. So she's probably just doing what he says anyways. So yeah. So she could be like a scapegoat for them. Because he's the water superintendent. He has to be licensed and certified to even do that job. And he only has a high school diploma. He didn't mention to me whether or not he was certified or anything. He just told me, I've been doing this for 10 years. Well, that doesn't tell me if you're licensed or certified. So it could be some of the people in the city hall are being used as scapegoats to deal with the public and to tell the public whatever it is he wants to tell them. And who is he linked to? Well, he's linked to the mayor, he's linked to the commissioner, and they're all corrupt. And then, of course, we know that the sheriff is linked to the commissioner because that's his son. And if the commissioner knows about this, then the commissioner's at fault too, aside with the mayor, aside with Mr. Henning. Now, on the other hand, if the mayor didn't know this was going on because she's only a dental assistant, and the commissioner doesn't know this is going on because he's just a regular old business owner, then they could all be scapegoats too, and Earl Henning is the one that's being manipulative and using these people and telling them things to make them believe something. So this is kind of like a big thing. You know what I mean? Got some scapegoats here, and we got somebody who's, doing this. But I highly doubt that Earl Henning is working on this alone, because he could get in a lot of trouble. He could lose his job. He can lose his certification if he has one, which I don't think he does. So yeah. So there's several people involved here. And if the sheriff is not working on my case, he's probably involved too, because the mayor is his friend, or his parents' friend, or his dad's friend, and that's why the case is kind of being poo-pooed to the side. So, anyways, the drama in Woodsboro, shit. Anyways, that's all I have. It looks like it's gonna be 4 o'clock right now. I've already made a whole fresh pot of food for the dogs. I cooked them a whole crock pot of new food. I have to probably cook one of those up every, 3 or 4 days. But it's cheaper and it's more healthier than the canned dog food. It's about the same price. It's about the same price. The only difference, it's not as convenient as a can. But with the canned food, that's like processed and all that stuff. I'd rather just make it myself. And actually, it's a little bit more, because you still have to buy the fresh carrots, and you still have to buy. You can actually put certain types of vegetables in there. I use carrots. I know carrots is good. But also have to buy the rice. Bag of rice. So it's probably like $1 or $2 more, realistically, than buying a case of dog food. Is better quality, is better for your dogs. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. I'm Mona. This was Chit Chat, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.